Some disappearances have explanations, whether it's foul play, a tragic accident, or a careful plan to escape one's life. But then there are cases that leave nothing behind. No clues, no bodies, no definitive leads. These are the stories of people who simply vanished, as if the earth opened up and swallowed them whole. For law enforcement, friends and families, these unsolved disappearances become obsessions. How can someone cease to exist without leaving a single piece of solid evidence? Stay with me until the end, because one of these cases has baffled investigators for centuries, surviving the test of time, and even modern technology hasn't managed to solve it. If you love true crime, subscribe now so you don't miss next Saturday's episode, where we delve into the strangest crime scene discoveries ever recorded, cases where the evidence itself makes no sense. Amelia Earhart was more than just a pilot. She was an international icon of courage and exploration. By 1937, she had already set multiple aviation records, earning the admiration of millions. Her plan to fly around the world at the equator would be her greatest achievement yet, cementing her legacy as a pioneer of flight. On July 2, 1937, during one of the final legs of her journey, she and her navigator Fred Noonan approached Howland Island, a tiny speck in the vast Pacific. The skies were clear, but radio communications were fraught with static. Earhart's last known message suggested she was running low on fuel and couldn't locate the island's airstrip. Then came silence. The ensuing search was massive. The US Navy and Coast Guard scoured over 250,000 square miles of ocean. They found no sign of wreckage or oil slicks, no emergency signals. It was as if Earhart's Lockheed Electra had been erased from the skies. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged. Some speculate the plane crashed and sank, leaving its remains somewhere in the uncharted depths. Others believe she and Noonan survived as castaways on a deserted island until supplies ran out. A more controversial hypothesis suggests she was captured by Japanese forces, possibly taken to Saipan. Despite occasional headlines announcing a potential new lead, scrap metal found on a coral atoll, or underwater scans that turned up unusual shapes, no definitive evidence has confirmed Earhart's fate. Her disappearance remains one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history, capturing the imagination of explorers and conspiracy theorists alike. Will we ever find the plane or her final resting place? Only time and continued technological advances may tell. On December 4, 1872, the British brigantine DEI Gracia was sailing across the Atlantic when her crew spotted another vessel adrift. They boarded it to investigate. The ship, named the Mary Celeste, was fully seaworthy. Her cargo of denatured alcohol was intact, her sails were partially set, and nothing indicated a pirate attack. Yet every person on board had vanished without explanation. The Mary Celeste's captain, Benjamin Briggs, was known for his competence. He had his wife and young daughter with him on the voyage from New York to Genoa, plus a crew of 7. All their personal belongings were still in their quarters. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, and no reason for anyone to abandon ship in a hurry. The only real clue was that the ship's lifeboat was missing, and there was about a foot of water in the bilge, hardly enough to warrant an emergency evacuation. The cargo was mostly undisturbed, though a few barrels of alcohol had leaked or were found empty. Some theorized that fumes from those barrels created a panic, prompting the crew to believe an explosion was imminent. Another theory suggests a sudden waterspout or freak weather event forced everyone to flee. Yet none of these hypotheses align perfectly with the lack of damage or signs of haste. For nearly 150 years, the Mary Celeste has been dubbed a ghost ship, a maritime enigma that defies logical explanation. Did the crew drown at sea trying to reach land? Did an unknown calamity convince them to abandon a perfectly functional vessel? The questions linger, and the Mary Celeste's secret remains locked in its own legendary status among the greatest unsolved mysteries of the sea. Unlike the age-old mysteries, Brandon Swanson's disappearance is shockingly recent, and all the more perplexing for it. It happened in the early morning hours of May 14, 2008. 19-year-old Brandon Swanson had just finished celebrating the end of the college semester with friends in Minnesota. Driving home on back roads, he somehow ended up in a ditch. He called his parents around midnight, frustrated but unharmed, saying he wasn't sure where he was. They stayed on the phone as he tried to describe his surroundings. At one point, he believed he could see lights from a nearby town. His parents drove out to search for him, with Brandon guiding them over the phone as best he could. For 47 minutes they talked, trying to pinpoint each other's locations. Then Brandon suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Perhaps he stumbled or saw something unexpected, and the line went dead. His parents repeatedly tried calling back, but there was no answer. The phone soon went straight to voicemail. A massive search ensued. Law enforcement combed fields, ditches, rivers and nearby towns, but found no trace of Brandon. His car was eventually located, but not him. No footprints, no cell phone, no evidence suggesting an attack. Some have speculated he fell into a nearby river and drowned, but extensive searches turned up nothing. Others think foul play might be involved, but there's no solid clue. Brandon's disappearance remains one of the most haunting missing persons cases of the 21st century. How can someone vanish under the watch of an open phone line, leaving zero evidence behind? Every year, volunteers and family members keep searching, hoping that one day a clue or even a confession will bring them closure. Long before modern technology, one of the earliest mysteries in American history took shape: the lost colony of Roanoke. In 1587, over 100 English settlers, including women and children, arrived on Roanoke Island, present-day North Carolina, hoping to establish a permanent presence in the New World. Their leader, John White, sailed back to England for supplies, expecting to return within a few months. But war with Spain delayed White's trip, and he didn't make it back to Roanoke until 1590, 3 years later. Upon his return, the settlement was eerily abandoned. Houses were dismantled rather than destroyed, implying no immediate violence had occurred. The letters CRO were carved into a fence post, and the word Croatoan into a nearby tree. White interpreted this as a possible sign they'd moved to Croatoan Island, now Hatteras Island, but he never found them. Severe storms prevented further exploration, and White was forced to sail back to England. No bodies, no final messages, no sign of conflict. The entire group had disappeared without a definitive trace. Some historians speculate that the colonists joined nearby Native American tribes. Others suggest they died of starvation or disease, unable to survive harsh conditions. More outlandish theories propose Spanish raids or supernatural forces. Despite centuries of archaeological digs and research, no conclusive evidence reveals the fate of the lost colony. It's a story that remains etched in America's early history, a tale of hope, survival, and a disappearance that will likely never be fully explained. Some of these cases stretch back centuries, while others happened within our lifetime. Yet they share a common thread, a profound lack of answers. Families, investigators and historians have poured time and resources into unraveling these mysteries, but all they're left with are theories and rumors. Could advanced technologies like deep-sea exploration for Amelia Earhart's plane or new DNA testing for lost Roanoke relics finally provide the truth? Or are some mysteries destined to stay locked away, forever tantalizing us with the thought of what might have happened? Which disappearance do you find the most haunting? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe now so you don't miss next Saturday's episode, where we uncover the strangest crime scene discoveries ever recorded, cases where the evidence itself makes no sense. And always remember, the world is full of missing pieces. Some are never meant to be found. Thank you for watching. See you in the next investigation.